Hi, welcome to the Ingredient Channel, where I recreate and share authentic Chinese recipes every week. In today's episode, I'm presenting another well-known recipe from the northeastern Chinese cuisine, the kimchi and pork belly soup. Due to the region's harsh and long winters and short growing seasons, the northeastern cuisine relies on preserved foods like pickles and kimchi a lot. Suan Cai, the pickled Chinese cabbage, is very similar to kimchi without the chilies and is traditionally braised with pork. Typically, the well-braised pork is dipped into savory sauces before consuming. The recipe looks simple, but requires some patience and trick to make it delicious. And I'm going to introduce two dipping sauces in the video. One is a traditional fermented leek flour sauce. The other one is the simple garlic soy sauce. Ready? Let's go. Pick a piece of beautiful pork belly, about 1 pound, skin on, and as many layers as possible. Blanch in cold water, add bay leaf, star anise, and cooking wine. Bring to a boil, simmer for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, let's prepare for the other ingredients. Take 1 pickled Chinese cabbage. I found this from a nearby Korean grocery store. If you have trouble getting one, the sauerkraut is actually a perfect alternative. The outer layer of the kimchi or suan cai is rather thick. We're going to slice it first to achieve the thin shreds. Soak the suan cai shred in cold water. As for the center part of the cabbage, we can simply shred or cut. Rinse and squeeze out the water. In addition to cleaning, this step reduces the sourness of the cabbage. The next main ingredient is the frozen tofu. Just freeze a box of firm tofu overnight, defrost, then cut into small cubes. The tofu protein changed into this unique sponge-like texture that absorbs the tasty soup after being frozen. Next, soak a block of the mung bean noodles. chop some scallion, and mince some ginger roots. Now let's check on the pork belly. Use a small knife or chopstick to poke the center part of the pork belly until there is no blood coming out, and the chopstick pokes through the meat easily. Take the pork belly out and set aside to cool down. Then cut into thin slices. Mom used to freeze the pork belly overnight before slicing to achieve the paper-thin effect. For the time being, I'm taking a shortcut. Pour the water that was used to boil the pork belly into a clay pot. Add the scallion, ginger root, Suan Cai, tofu, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of cooking wine. 3 factors are crucial to making the delicious Suan Cai soup. Many people ended up with very sour soup, which is hard to consume. The first important factor is the fermented shrimp, or you can use dried seafood as well. I'm using the fermented salty shrimp I found again in the Korean store. In addition, Suan Cai demands lots of oil or fat to be braised together. Therefore, pork belly and ribs are typically used. Last, but certainly not least, is the patience and time. Bring to a boil and simmer for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, let's prepare for the dipping sauce. Mince 3 cloves of garlic, add 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of dark rice vinegar, and 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Second sauce is the fermented leek flour sauce, also known as 韭菜花 in Chinese. I'm sharing a link of this sauce in the descriptions for your information. After 30 minutes of simmering, let's add the pork belly slices. Make sure the pork belly is fully soaked in the soup. Cover the lid, bring to another boil, simmer for another 20 minutes. Then I'm adding the mung bean noodles. Because the noodles are very thin, it takes only 1 or 2 minutes to cook. Open the lid, the soup is ready to serve. A well-cooked Suan Cai soup is white with little oil noticeable. I used a bit cilantro to garnish. but it is very much optional. Time to enjoy. Add a bit of 韭菜花 sauce to a piece of the pork belly. Dip a piece of tofu in the sauce. It is fully soaked with the tasty soup. So delicious. Next, we're going to try the second dipping sauce. Garlic enhanced the taste of the soft pork belly and the crispy cabbage with a strong seafood fragrance brought in by the salty shrimp. Seriously, neither the video nor my descriptions give enough justice to this delicious dish. Only if you try, then you will know what I mean. If you like this episode, please push the like button or subscribe to get notification for similar videos in the future. Thanks.